Blog Talk Radio.
Anybody who knows the song, sing along.
Oh yeah, and anybody that knows this song, which most of you do, you're welcome to sing along. So if you all stand up.
All right. Welcome to another American Indian Movement radio show and broadcast. And thank AIM Central Texas for sponsoring this great radio show. I was talking to Layla on the other side, and well, she's tuned in, and she said she's proud of this radio show and or appreciate it. So, I am too. Too, and Dave's on the line in them, and I'll be opening up the lines here real shortly. Just go through my little routine here, and a lot of things we want to talk about, but a couple things, that always gets my attention is the way life really is. I was thinking about, like, I was talking to this foreign journalist, and he couldn't understand why what is our issue with the U.S. government? How come do we hate the white man? I said, we don't hate nobody. People always say that, but we don't hate people. It isn't in our blood to hate people. Defending ourselves isn't hate, and it ain't racism. I told him, imagine you from your country. It's a white country. You have your president speaks your language. All the land you walk on is from your land. All your people are your people. All of you, When a cop stops you, he's one of you people. I said, what if Japan or Africa or China or somebody came in, suddenly, somehow became the ruler of your country, and every time a cop stopped you, he talked to you in their language and made you speak in their language and was mouthy to you. Every time you turned around, it was one of them. You lost everything you had. I said, think about that. A lot of people don't look at it that way, but that's the case we live in. When we get stopped by a cop, he's a white cop. He don't belong over. He's not from the country. He's a foreigner. They talk English. You speak English, everything. So that is a trauma that our people have to live through. And I was looking at this thing about how trauma follows you through DNA. I don't believe that. Trauma is an experience. And survival instinct is what follows us through life, And there's a big difference. But, you get these big scientists and all this everything, then they want to put their science to it. I seen an Indian guy with a shirt and tie talking about, DNA and genetics. And I said, hell with that guy. Need to have some culture, need to have some spirituality, your own spirituality, and quit believing what they tell you. What they tell us, the weak listen to. And if it ain't the weak listening to it, it's some educated Indian, and right away, oh man, yeah, that's true, because he went to school. I went to school. I went to college too, I got a degree. But what I learned about going to college is you start conducting yourself like your peers. Your conversation even changes. You're all on some kind of ambition to be a lawyer, to be a accountant, to be whatever, to be a doctor. And this is good. But as you're doing it, you start leaving behind your culture. And this is what I'm talking about. Anyway, our people needs to realize the land they walk on is theirs. And they need to realize the culture that we have is ours. It's not 500 years old, When Columbus came in 1492, blah, 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 that's only 500 years ago. We had something going for hundreds of thousands of years, and we're going to change it just because they came, I mean, to me, Christianity and all this stuff is a fad. We need to outgrow this and get back to where we're at. But I'm not down on spirituality. Christianity in most people is a spirituality. Being a Catholic even is a spirituality. But I'm not down on spirituality. That's why I felt bad. This guy went up and asked these guys, hey, are you Catholic? And then, are you Christian? Or tell me what you are, and then shot him. What kind of idiot butthead is that? I mean, I feel bad to hear all this gun violence and this gun stuff and, all this wicked stuff that goes on. Cops killing every day, And they say the cops have a dangerous job, You know how many cops died in the line of duty this year so far? 98. Okay, compared to probably 800 or 900 people they killed. 98 police died, and only 29 of them died from gunfire. Yeah. 5 of them died from 9/11 related illness. One died aircraft accident. Couple accidentally shot themselves. 16 of them died from heart attacks. Can you imagine? And motorcycle accidents. Vehicle accidents. One fell, died. 3 of them died from, getting beat up. Now that's bad. I feel bad for those 98 cops. But you know what? Only 29 of them died in gunfire. And a few of them I feel bad about. Who, me feeling bad for a cop? Yeah, of course. I felt bad for that cop in Houston that got ambushed, walked up behind and killed him, I don't see no honor in that thing. My people, there's got to be honor in something, you know what I mean? Got to have some honor in it, Face them, let's get it on, face to face, whatever, That's what we want if we're going to do it. There's no pride in lining people up and murdering them. There's no pride in walking up behind somebody and shooting them, I mean, look at what the Washichu did to our people. No matter what they did to us, we still don't go catch them and line them up and do that. We just stay away from them and pray for them. We just pray for them. And that's how we live our life. That's why Columbus called us Indios, people of God, because we always ask God for everything. Everything we do. We go fishing, we pray. We go hunting, we pray. We go on a long trip, man. You see Indians cruising down the road when they're going on a long trip, got tobacco ties hanging off their mirror, and you know what I mean, hanging out their back pocket when they're walking in the courtroom. But that's us, That's how we live. We're spiritual people. We don't have no hate. I don't like it when people say we're full of hate, because we're not. But, we have life. But I'm proud to be what I am. And I'm happy when I see another one of my people. And it's an honor to be in the American Indian movement, because we're all Indians. you know, different tribes and everything. And maybe we don't see eye to eye sometimes, but one thing, well, if it comes down to battle, we know who we're going to stand with, you know, that's how it is. And we all lived hard lives. So see, I feel bad for Americans because Americans are really blind to reality. You know, those guys, this guy shot like about 5 women, I think, 5 women. And that's the other thing. How could you shoot a woman? You know, how could you shoot women? Wow, you got to really be a spiritless, spineless Rudy Poot to do that, you know. But, you know, and I tell you what, if somebody lined 9 of us up, me and my bros, and had a gun, yeah, he might get one of us, but there's going to be 9, the other 8 of us all over this guy, you know, because we got survival instincts. Yeah, we got survival instincts. Pull a gun on us and see what the hell we do, you know. Be charging your ass, however, sideways, doing flips and everything, but we're going to be coming at you. That's our nature. We got survival instincts, you know. So I feel bad for them, you know. A lot of Americans never even had a bloody nose, you know. Never even had a bloody nose, you know. A lot of them, you know, probably a lot of those U.S. senators that make all these wars someplace else never even got a butt whipping, you know. Don't know nothing about it, you know. I always laugh at some of the things that, you know, like how they take it when they get hurt. Oh, I remember one of our Indian girls who had a concert and Great White was supposed to perform it. They were pouting, you know, Washichi's pouting. One of our Indian girls walked up there and slapped the piano player from Great White right in the face. Bam! This guy went, ho, ho, ho. You know, that's funny as hell. You know, and this guy was scared to death. And the rest of them looked at us. After that, they started complying, you know. And we told them, we don't want to hear them. You get your ass out of here, but you better come back tomorrow and you better perform. Told them, you get the hell out of here. We're going to cross you out today. Anyway, that's a true story. I was standing right there, you know, when that happened. You know, they never even had a bloody nose and all that. So I feel bad for them because they listen to all this propaganda and everything, and they believe it. You know, and I tell our people to listen and believe in what's real. What is reality is a beautiful thing. Reality, you know, experience and real life experience. And when you speak of something and you know it's not propaganda because it's an experience, you know, that's a good thing. I was talking about my grandma who was born in 1800s before Wounded Knee Massacre. She died in 1970, and I was a little boy. Well, in 1970, I was already, I'll admit it, 20 years old. So I knew her good in some more adult years, you know. And she told me lots of stuff. And when I was a little boy, she used to be singing these Indian songs. When I Sundance, I heard them songs, same words. And she got them from her grandma, you know. So if she's born in 1800, her grandma must have been born in 1700. So these are the things. She remembered Wounded Knee. She said one time, the white man killed lots of Indians in Wounded Knee. You know, she remembered that. She was a little girl. Lived over there in Rosebud Rez. So a lot of things, our life we live, Indians, we're fortunate to know our history and know where we come from and being related. And if we're not related, we make a relation, junca. We call people relative to Hashi, we live, that's how we live. But they don't live like that, the Americans. And I feel bad for them, and they have to live in a Rudy Poot dream life all the time. And they don't know there's young people out there like those poor people going to college and having ambition. I felt bad for a Mexican girl that got killed there. She's going to be a nurse, and this guy shot her down. Beautiful, too. I mean, that stuff angers me. And then you hear these people, NRA people, Obama's going to take our guns. He ain't going to take your guns. So what you crying for? Why are you crying about rights for when my people ain't got no rights? We didn't become American citizens till June 2nd, 1924. Can you imagine that? American citizen. This land ain't even America. They named it America. They came over and made us a citizen of what the hell they did. They did their thievery. And anyway, I'm going to get all fired up if I keep going with it. But I don't like that when people start talking about their rights. When winter's coming and my people are going to freeze and we don't have rights. When when Leonard Peltier and them, their case they got, the white man was attacking them, came on Indian land. It wasn't like they were over there hunting down FBI. That's a lie. Everything they say is a lie. They try to connect every issue, all this, even with Anna Mae, and got everybody riled up. It's a bunch of baloney. They're gossip. Well, one thing about Indians, we know the truth. Because we live with each other, and we heard it from the horse's mouth. And I'm going to put my bro on here, David Ortiz. How you doing, Dave?
I'm doing good, bro. I'm doing good. I'm, glad that we're having another show. I want to thank everybody that's listening in and the people on the chat. I see we even got Frankie on the chat. That's good. Another Frankie's a security director for our chapter. You were talking about rights, not having any rights, and I took the liberty of inviting an AIM sister. She's Lakota, but she's living in Montana, and her grandkids got taken away, and she's been fighting to get those grandkids back. And Child Protective Services, they have no ears for her pleas. So I asked her to come on the show and give us her story. She should be calling in. Look for let me see. I'll give you a number to look for. Area code number in a minute here. But I think it's important that people hear her story, and we need to rally around her and help her in any way we can. So she's got a simple request. She just wants to recover her grandkids and raise them. CPS, the tribal officials on the Rez there in Montana, they have no ears for her pleas. And and I got to say this, I have tried to help her. I contacted the Lakota Law Project. No, they, for all they claim to do, they didn't do nothing. I contacted what's his name? Lance, what is the last name? Brown Eyes? Or no, not Lance Brown. I don't remember.
You mean the Mongolian?
Yeah, and they didn't help him. They didn't help him at all. So nobody seems to want to help this grandma, and so be looking for a hold on just a minute. Let me give you an area code. They'd be looking for 406 area code. She should be calling in.
I got a couple of them, and I'll check it out right now, and I'll put her on. And let me see, because you know what? That's what I'm talking about, bro. These the U.S. government acts like they even own our children, and what happened to our Indian Child Welfare Act? They just threw that out the window. They come, and you know what? Our people have to live under their stress. On the Indian reservation, if you have, say, 5 or 6 kids in the house, you better have 3 rooms, running water, and all that. The bigger house. That means you got to keep that bigger house warm. They ain't going to help you keeping it warm. When I was a little boy, my grandma lived in a little house, dirt floor, but that house is warm. And nowadays you can't live like that. They'll take it. Hey, 406 line, I have you open 552. I won't give the whole number. Yes, we can hear you. We can hear you.
Okay.
Is that you, Lornagene?
Yes, it is.
Okay,
right.
Good. We can hear you. So how are you doing today?
I'm doing okay. All right,
And,
still, fighting.
Okay.
Well, run down the issue to us, to our listeners. Tell us what's happening.
My daughter had moved up here to the Flathead Reservation, the Salish Kostenai tribe, to go to school. In 2011. And she was here, what happened, June 3rd, 2013, she had got into the drug problem, methamphetamine. And CPS had come and taken the kids away, my granddaughters, Justice Two Stars and Jaya Anderson. On the following Monday, I got a call from the Salish Kostenai CPS program. I didn't get an introduction on who was calling me, nothing. I answered the phone, and all I heard on the other end was, "Where are you?" And that was ICWA director of Salish Kostenai CPS program. And I thought, how rude, and I said, "I'm in Minnesota." Well, she proceeded to tell me the story of what happened. My daughter was in jail, and they had to place my 2 granddaughters. Well, I contacted, I'm from the Siston Wapton Oyate in South Dakota. We all are, my 2 granddaughters and my daughter. We're all enrolled over there. Anyway, I called our ICWA director of our CPS program over there. And they had immediately called this Salish Kostenai CPS for the paperwork. They needed the paperwork on it. And they refused to give it to them. To this day, our program has never received anything from this CPS program. Anyway, I made calls, talked to CPS in the beginning in 2013. And she had told me that if I moved up here, my chances of getting my granddaughters would be better. So it took me a while financially, but I made it up here last year, March of 2014. I made it up here. I met with CPS about them. I was granted unsupervised visits with both of them, and that went on for like a couple months, and then all of a sudden it stopped. And here, they told me that if I found a house, they would pay for it, and they would give me my grandchildren. I found a house June of last year, and they came over and they looked at it. They liked it. It was nice, a really nice house, and they paid for the deposit and the first month's rent, which came up to close to $1,800. And they told me that they would give me my grandchildren. Well, then come to find out, she's telling me I have to see a therapist. It was all up to their therapist, to continue visits, to see them, whatever, anything I had to do. So it was in the end of June. I talked to a well-known lawyer in Wisconsin, a native lawyer. His name is Gary Montana, from the Oneida tribe. And here he had told me something that I never ever thought of. And he asked me to send him documents, so I did. And he read it, and he said in the first couple pages, he even seen 10 violations, civil rights violations that this tribal court had did in the tribal court document, the first one I sent him. Anyway, he had said, after talking with him for like a month or two, he told me, I think, he said, from what you told me, that the foster dad, who is a member from this tribe, was behind it because of my youngest, who at the time was 2 years old when they got her. He said, your other granddaughter is older. He said, I think they're after the youngest one. And, well, since then, my oldest granddaughter, living with the foster parents, I was trying to work with CPS. I have phone records where I had called in 2 months' time 48 times, and I only got 2 voicemail messages back saying that they would call me, and they never did. I was never able to speak to the program manager. I would leave her messages. She would never return my phone calls. And I've done a lot. My oldest granddaughter one day had said last year in, end of July, 1st of August, she wanted to see me. And the foster parent said that we had to go by our visitation, which, at the time they had cut off. She had to wait when I would get my visitation returned. Well, my oldest granddaughter decided to walk. Well, I'll go find my grandma, so she started walking. And that sparked the start of the institutionalization of my oldest granddaughter. They put her in a facility in Kalispell, Montana, which is only like 55 miles north from where I live in Polson, Montana. And that's what sparked her being in all the different institutions and group homes and all this since then. And it hasn't even been a year, and to date she's been in 9 different facilities. The first time she tried to commit suicide, they couldn't get a hold of CPS. I did not find out from CPS. The foster mother called me. CPS did not know nothing about it, but the foster mother had called me and told me the very first time my oldest granddaughter tried to take her life. Well, anyway, it was like a day later, and then they finally contacted her, and then, you know, she called me, and I told her I already knew that the foster mom had called me. Then they had told me, you know, while still living in this house, I would eventually have visits again with them. But with Justice, you know, we had to work through that. I had to see a therapist. They wanted me to see a therapist, so I did for a couple times until financially I couldn't do it no more. But even the therapist I went to see had told me, why are you here, after I had talked to her for like 45 minutes. And I said, why? I came because of Child Protection Services. They want me here. She said, why? And I said, for evaluation of how I am. She said, I don't understand. She said, you don't need to be here. You don't need to be here to get your grandchildren. She said, there's nothing wrong. Why do you have to see me? That's what her big question was. So like I said, I continued until financially I couldn't anymore. And then from then, I never got to see them, never got to talk to them. My oldest grandchild was in Kalispell. She got moved to, Butte, Montana, in Arcadia. She was moved to, she was in Kalispell 3 times at Pathways. And then from there, she went to Arcadia, Bozeman. Then she went to Missoula, to the children's home, and then they placed her in Utah. She was in Wyoming for a brief time, and then this last time she went to Helena, or by Helena. It's called Youth Dynamics Institution for Children in Boulder, Montana. 3 weeks ago on tomorrow, I had nightly visits with my oldest granddaughter. I haven't heard nothing at all about my, when I can see my youngest granddaughter either. No communication there. I had called the Friday before that, when I had nightly calls with my oldest granddaughter for 10 minutes. Friday I had called her, and she was upset, and she was crying, and I asked her what was wrong. And she said that there was a new person that had come to the center, and she was trying to help show them around and give them, you know, show them the rules and stuff. But the lady that was on duty had wrote her up, and she didn't understand why, because she was trying to help her. Well, anyway, she got knocked down from her phases, 1, 2, there's 3 phases. She got knocked down from 2 to 1. And from there it kind of snowballed, because Saturday I had called and she was feeling better. You know, I always told her to pray. Oh, you know, we always pray a lot. And I talked to her about our ways and stuff, and, you know, always pray, Justice. You know, it's going to happen. And then I call Sunday, and the lady that answered, the worker, she said it's Justice's grandma. And so the house manager, Mike, got on the phone, and he told me he would call me back. So he called me back, and he had told me that Justice had left the center that day at 1 o'clock, and they didn't realize she was gone for a period of time. And she was gone all that day, all that night. They put out an APB out on her. I stayed awake. I called every 2-3 hours. I called the center for any news. And then the police department, I stayed awake all night and thinking of Jaya and just, you know, everything. And here, again, Mike calls me that morning, and they had found her, but she had tried again to commit suicide. But they had caught her, you know, found her in time and put her in the hospital and stuff. And I haven't talked to her since that day. And then, of course, Mike, the house manager and the therapist over there at the Youth Dynamics place where she was. Kayla, her therapist was trying to get a hold of CPS too without nothing. They couldn't do it. They couldn't get a hold of them. Crystal Williams, the intern, which is our caseworker, and Mike was the one, who told me. Crystal didn't. They couldn't get a hold of her. They couldn't get a hold of her until Tuesday. This happened Sunday. Monday, I was talking to Mike Sunday, from the time it happened to Monday morning, and then Tuesday is when they finally got a hold of Crystal. And I got tired of it, and I had talked to one of the council people here. She's aware of it. And when I did try to arrange a meeting with the tribal president here of Salish Kostenai, he told me to go over to CPS and sign papers before I talk to him, which I won't do. I refuse to do that. And then another thing was in this fight and all this, they tell me that I can't give no false hope to my grandchildren whatsoever. And they have her on medication, my oldest. I don't know about my youngest. But here, what are they doing? I mean, like they're playing head games, because I had unsupervised visits with them when I first moved here. I had phone calls with them, and then boom, nothing. And then I get phone calls with my oldest, and for a little while, boom, nothing. When they move her, it's been like this. So then I've been telling them, my granddaughter better not kill herself in your facility, in your care, because there will be hell to pay. Because I'm tired. I want my grandchildren. I'm tired of them telling me my SWO, my tribe. It's like they want to help, but they don't know how to go about it. I tell them the laws because I used to work at child support. I had to learn Black's Law Dictionary and things in there and stuff, and they're like at a standstill. I filed last June for my grandchildren. My daughter wrote out a statement saying I want custody given to my mother. And I filed that, but it never got to the judge. It went straight to CPS. They never got it because I was waiting for the court date, and I never got it, so I called, but they said it went straight to CPS. CPS, when I was calling all the time and telling them I needed to see them and I needed to call them, talk to them on the phone, Crystal Williams had basically threatened me and said that if I had shown up at CPS, I would be thrown in jail. She said, you will be receiving a letter from me, or not from her, but from their office, saying that if I was to set foot on there, I would be arrested. She said, we mailed the letter. I said, I never got it. She said, well, we mailed it to this date. I never got it. So there's been a lot of things going on with this case, and it has a lot to do, which I believe Gary Montana, in looking through this, for the last 2 years. It has a lot to do with my youngest. They want her, but the foster mother had told Justice's therapist at Boulder, Montana, this last facility, that the reason why Justice can't go back there is because she'll be a bad influence on her little sister. How can a foster mother say that, to two sisters who were together all that time from the time Jail was born up to when this happened? For a foster mother to say that.
Well,
and all this. Yeah. And it, it's just like, I found out how much money they get for them. And just, like the last time before I had to move out of my house, Crystal came to talk to me, the intern. And she told me of the plan. My daughter, Jessica, has never missed a court date, ever. She was always at the court hearings. Well, the last court hearing that she was to have was the permanent placement of my granddaughters with this family. Well, they gave her a court date, so she was waiting, and she was supposed to be served, but she never got served any kind of papers. And so she calls, and here they already had the court date the court hearing the day before, so she wasn't even there. She didn't even know about it. So they went ahead with that procedure. Anyway, when Crystal came to see me that day, here she was talking about, my grandchildren being permanently placed with them. My daughter's rights were suspended, and that I could still see them, I could visit them. And then she said, but you have to go along with this, she said, because if you don't, you won't get to see any of them. That's coercion. And I just oh, gosh, and I said, she said, well, we'll work with you to get your oldest. And I said, no, I want both of them. She said, well, Jaya is already permanently placed. And I said, no, I want both of them. So after saying that with her, everything changed. Everything. I mean, no communication with justice, no communication with my youngest, Jaya. And then they wonder, when I did talk to CPS about my granddaughter, my oldest, this last time, because she did call me, and she said about the false promises, about this and that, and I thinking, why do I have to go through all this as a grandmother, go through parenting classes, go through psychological counseling when I didn't do nothing? All I did was come here to fight for my grandchildren and get them. And I told the tribal council woman, I said, you give me my grandchildren, you will never hear another peep from me. But if you don't, I am not giving up. I said, you will hear me all over because I'm not going to shut up. I want my grandchildren. And she agreed with me. She had seen, when I was telling her my story, she had even told me that she was, oh, my gosh, Lornagene, she said, you could sue us. She said, you could really sue us big time for, for what they're doing. I contacted David Simmons with the National ICWA Association in Portland, Oregon. He got in contact, or he told me different places to contact. In the last week and a half, I found out that because I really do my homework on this child protection program over here on the Flathead Reservation, I do a lot of homework on them, and found out that it's run by the BIA, and the tribe here does help with the funding, but mostly BIA. I contacted the BIA.
Let me jump in here real quick, all right?
Okay.
And then we can go further. But what I was wondering, you're talking about the other attorneys and all the legal process. What gets me is, I ain't gonna tell you how I got experience with federal law, but I got experience with federal law, and federal law. Hold on now. Federal law is this. If you can't find a remedy at a low level, you can automatically step up. If it's futile, you can step up. And I think a lot of these cases need to go straight to federal court, but nobody does it. This Montana guy and all these fancy attorneys, I feel bad because we got Indian attorneys. But once they become attorneys, hold on now, once they become attorneys, they quit thinking. You know, the thing about it, these cases could go to federal court, and somebody needs to take them to federal court. You know what I mean, bro? We have the right to go to federal court if we can prove it's futile to continue in tribal court or state court. I went to federal court. I was suing the Catholics. I went straight to federal court. Well, the reason why they booted me out was because I was fighting the Catholics and I didn't have the money to continue. But they didn't. They left it, without prejudice. But what I'm saying is, her case, what she's talking about, needs to be challenged in higher courts. And our people ain't taking them to higher courts. These attorneys are stuck on the bottom down there. They don't know how to ease up to the top. She needs to take this stuff and even do it herself or find some layman of law, I did it myself. It's nothing. You just file a form and file it in federal court. And I don't know what the court fees are, but they're like $700. But you can prove you're indigenous and indigent, and you won't have to pay in some cases. But bro, I think that these things, we had enough of this stuff. They come take the kids. I have grandchild that was took in. Matter of fact, he ran away. I was glad he did too, and he's out now. He ran away and stayed away. But they came to the Rez looking for him from Colorado. But I feel like we need to start looking for people to take this to a higher level. These cases, they come in and taking our kids, taking our grandkids, and then making all this red tape so we can't we can't do nothing is a bunch of baloney. And these people, these Washichu, they're not our culture. They once they do that, our kids are getting Americanized. They assimilate them, and that's what they're doing. And they assimilate them, but yet they're mean. They have this big bunch of discipline. That's why there's probably a whole lot of suicides in foster homes. And a lot of Indian kids committing suicide, and a lot of things we don't hear about. But I tell you one thing, is my advice, and what was your name again? I didn't catch your name.
Oh, I'm sorry, Lornagene Drum.
Okay, Lornagene. Okay, yeah, Lorna. The thing, Lorna, is we need to, I wish you would talk to Montana about going to federal court. Tell them you want to go to federal court. What do you need to do to go to federal court? Here's what you do. You just file in federal court, and you explain how futile it's been dealing with the child welfare people, how futile it's been being with the tribe, and how the state was, and you can go into federal court. Now, as far as them listening to you, that's another ballgame. But if you have a legitimate claim, a judge is there to honor rights and law. He's not there to make decision or what. He wants to make sure the laws are right, or all the laws applied to. But our people are really going through. Got to keep in mind this. We're not on the telephone. This is a radio show, so we got to be careful how we communicate here. But the thing about it is, we need to get our people moving up into federal court. What do you think, Dave? Oh, I guess Dave's gone or something. Anyway, let me see. Are we all right, Lorna? You know,
Yeah.
If we can start going to federal court, and if somebody isn't doing this, I think, you know, I mean, you know, like Jeremiah's out there, Frankie, and there's a lot of people that tune into us, Roger, that have a lot of common sense and a lot of knowledge and skill just in living. And one thing our people aren't doing is we're not utilizing federal court. Our people aren't using federal court, and we have a right to go to federal court. Everybody does, and we need to take advantage of that. You know.
Yes.
So my advice to you, you know, is, and all the people listening, I hope some people listening and get with you and try to give you moral support. But we need to research and look up the avenue to federal court, because federal court can remedy any damn thing. You know, last month a lady sued her boss because she couldn't wear one of those things Muslim women wear. You know, I mean, they're going to federal court. You know, prisoners in federal prison go straight to federal court for little things like they don't like their toilet bowl, it's cracked, or they're not getting enough potatoes. You know, federal court will respond to anything. You know, so it's important for us to look above. You know, so Lorna, you need to look above and quit knocking on the wall. You know, that brick wall, because that's what it is, a brick wall. Our people go through this all the time. They're taking our children from us. They're abusing our children. Some of our children are getting homed with perverts and things like that. A lot of I remember one kid was saying in the other room he always seen his foster parents having sex, and it was like they left the door open on purpose. You know, I mean, them Americans are wicked people, and with them it's just a business. I don't know what the heck, how much money Montana gets, but I know South Dakota is getting a lot of money for foster kids. So we need to look above and try our best to. Dave, you there?
Yeah, I'm here. I lost you for a while. I'm back.
Yeah. Dave, do you know people that ever went to federal court for stuff?
Oh yeah. But like I said, you know, like you said, getting them to listen is another thing. But you get a chance to present your, your argument, and I think you're right. Seems like for the past 2 years, my sister here, Lornagene, has been just trying to knock these walls down, and nobody's paying attention to her. And I know that she had told me in our conversation earlier today that she got. Correct me if I'm wrong, Lornagene. You got some guy from in Portland that's helping you now.
Yeah, she's here.
Yeah, didn't you tell me that you had somebody else helping you now?
The lady. Oh yeah. The lady from BIA. Yes. Her name is. She's from the regional BIA office that oversees this program. Her name is Kate Sage, and she told me when I explained everything to her, she told me that she would help me because it wasn't right what they were doing at all.
Well,
okay, well, following protocol.
Lorna, you need to get her to help you to get to federal court. You know, that's where the action's at, in federal court. Our people need to start, you know, we're talking about rights. We don't have rights and all that stuff, you know, but we have a right to go into federal court. You know, federal court, the U.S. Constitution, you know, constitutional right is to have access to the courts. And it doesn't matter. It even says, even if you're a layman at law, even if you write on a piece of toilet paper, they got to read it and act on it. You just got to get it into court. You got to pay that. It used to be $250, but that's probably about $700 court filing fee to get into federal court. Just get in there, and with a issue, and the issue has to be that it's futile for you to keep going, because years are passing by and these kids are growing older, and there's irreparable damage happening to them, you know, and that's why what we need to do, we need to educate our people how to get into federal court, bro. You know, I mean, I was a tribal attorney, and I tried to teach people this, you know. I mean, I wasn't an attorney for the tribe. I was a public defender. But what got me into this was I was studying law before. I took my own case and got it reversed in the Ninth Circuit Court of Appeals, just because I have the right. You have the right to go in there, and that's what you need to do. If you keep hitting a wall every place you turn, which sounds like to me, you know, what can you do? By the time this BIA lady is helping you out, she got her own job, she got her own check, she got her own life. Sometimes you might even need to do it yourself, but you need to look on the internet and look for how to file court forms, copy it, fill it out, and send it to federal court. And there's a form you call forma pauperis and pro se. Forma pauperis means you don't have the money to pay, so you can pay it later or whatever, and need to file a lawsuit, a federal lawsuit.
Okay.
You know, and or you need to talk to Montana or whoever the heck you're talking to, or get you one of these attorneys and bring that to their attention. These Indian attorneys, man, I know a bunch of them, and when you start talking about federal court, they act like, no, that's impossible. It's not impossible, because I did it a bunch of times. And every day there's people out there making frivolous claims, and they get into federal court every day for stuff like, this guy had his TV too loud, you know, stuff like that, you know. So that's what I need to do, you know. So what do you think about that, Lorna?
I think I need to take that avenue, because like both of you been saying, you know, I've been just bumping into a wall and not going anywhere, and it's like, you know, they CPS here talks about emotional damage and all this and that to my grandchildren. When I talked to my oldest granddaughter a week before she left, before she ran away, she begged me. She said, Grandma, I'll be the best granddaughter. I'll do everything. I'll stay home. I just want to come home, you know. She's never been in trouble, nothing ever in her life, you know.
Well, I say this. Talk to this woman that you said on the BIA. Tell her this is the avenue you want to go. You're tired of beating on doors that nobody's opening on the state level, and that, like Wombly said, tell that woman to help you get an attorney to take it to federal court. You know, Wombley's got a good point. You know, just leapfrog over the state and take it to federal.
Okay.
I got somebody from Atlanta, Georgia on the line, and she want to make a comment. Could you? What's your name, ma'am?
My name is Paige, Paige. I'm in the chat room, and I was listening to Lorna's story, and I thought maybe I had a suggestion. It's just an idea, and it's a shot. I would try to get in touch with these schools, especially the ones that have like law, people are trying to get their law degree, and explain your plight to them and let them know what you're trying to do. And those law students are really good at trying to help other people, and that helps their grade point average. Now, they may not be in it. These people will usually take on cases like this to help with their law degree, and I'm just saying that it's worth a shot.
Yeah,
absolutely. Yeah. That's a good point there because, they have groups out there. If you look on the internet, there's groups of people learning to be lawyers, and they help lawyers, or they do research for lawyers, and they sit in offices, and they know how to fill out forms. They know how to guide you through this, but they just ain't got their degree yet. And a lot of them will do it just for nothing, just to help you. Dave, so, we need some of us, if we get a chance, even myself, I'm talking again, but I will look myself to see if there's any groups. But somebody else, people needs to look, because it's not about Lorna. It's about our people, everybody.
Yeah.
Right.
And she brought a good point to us that needs to be, we need to wake up on it, because we all been through this. I've been through it.
Right.
I told you, one of my grandkids had to escape from a place, and
I think Paige, did you have another question? Yeah.
Well, I was just curious. When she was telling her story, I wasn't clear on who was doing this. Was this, forgive me, I don't know the terminology or the wordage. Was this Indian court? Forgive me if I don't have or is this the white court, American court, that was trying to take the children from her? I don't.
Tribal court.
Tribal court. CPS, through the tribal court. Child Protective Services through the tribal court. But the thing is that it's yes. Go ahead.
The thing, it's what?
It's
so the tribal court is trying to take her children. That's what I'm confused about. Is it the tribal court that's trying to take her children?
They've taken her children. They've taken them. The tribal court took back children.
She wants them back.
I don't understand. I just don't understand the motive. I don't understand why they would do that. Is it a different tribe or
younger?
They do it all the time.
She was
saying.
Is
it a different tribe?
Yes.
No. All of that, Paige, all of that has nothing to do with it. The point is, Child Protection Service is a national thing, and they come in and they take part in tribal issues, and the tribe gives them jurisdiction to do this stuff.
Right, and not only that, the tribe also gets money for every child that is adopted out or put in the foster care.
Exactly.
They make money off of it. Yeah.
Big
business. They make money off of it. Yeah, it's business.
Yeah.
Mm.
And that's why they ain't going to give those kids up. Because when they give those kids to her, they're not going to get no more money.
Right.
Exactly.
So it's kind of like when it is with the white. It's that if they keep the children, then they get funds from the government to keep them. They get money
Right.
Every month
right.
to. I see. Well,
You know,
also, you may want to explain that to whoever you talk to, because if this is some sort of fraud when it has to do with money, that gets attention. That gets attention, and there will be that will just help them immensely as far as their helping you, and they'll be more likely to just really roll into this.
Well, like I said, this Child Protection Services last year had paid for a house for me to give me back my grandchildren. They paid out of their program for that, almost $1,800, and I lived there from June until March of this year, and they never brought me my grandchildren. I couldn't afford the house, so I had to move. I kept it as long as I could, until my finances, were going to get better. And then that's when they had come in and told me about the permanent placement deal.
Well, let's get back to what we need to do about it. Well, like what I said, we need to get to federal court. You need to try to deal with it in federal court. And it's not so difficult. I mean, I wish I could explain it to you, but all you need to do is get on a typewriter and you put your name on the top and blah, 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 versus so-and-so, blah, blah, blah. Okay, we're not on the telephone, so you don't need to acknowledge every, there you go again.
Well, you can find court documents to print out. You can find all kinds of court documents. I didn't mean to interrupt. I apologize.
Yeah, let me finish what I'm saying. You can download court documents, and all you got to do is put your name on it versus whoever, and then go to federal court. If you don't have the money, you file a form of pauperis. Here we got to talk Latin in America. They want you to talk English, but then you got to talk Latin when you're in court. Okay, but you do that and send it to court. And I guarantee you the judge has got to look at it. He has to. It's his job. It will never get turned back. He has to look at it and read it, and he has to show proof he read it. And if he denies it, he's going to tell you why he denied it to go further. But 9 times out of 10, he'll set up a court hearing with witnesses and all that. If you got good information on there, if you got the right information, and the most important information to have is that it's futile for you to continue down there in that level, because they're just putting up walls and stopping you. And in the meantime, the kids are getting older, things are changing, and you can't go on like that. They give you a house and they pay for that house, but that's just, they had to do that, because if they don't help you out, then they look like they're not helping, and they lose that funding next. It's all business. Anyway, long story short, we need to educate our people in doing this kind of stuff. And Paige, I appreciate your comment about these young lawyers and people that are working to get law degrees. We need to do that, Lorna. You need to look above. Quit banging on that same door. Look above. In the meantime, you're on this radio show, and this radio show is so people can hear you. And Paige heard you, and many of us heard you. And I'm sure as long as you stay available, and you're on the CTX Facebook page, right?
Yes.
And then we could, people, you need to make a special post about this, looking for an attorney or looking for information on someone how to be an attorney. Someone's going to help you, and then try and get into federal court.
Okay.
I know a federal court at least you ain't gonna be knocking on the same door. You know.
Right.
I've got a question, bro, for Lorna. You know, okay, I know that you're adamant. I want both my granddaughters back, but, and I know this is hard for you to even consider, but the 14-year-old, she's running away. She's trying to commit suicide. Have you ever considered, okay, let me recover her first, have her safe under my roof, and then fight for the other one? Because while you're fighting for the other one, the 14-year-old, you know, she's like, I mean, running away trying to commit suicide, you know, it's important that you recover her immediately.
Right.
So I would consider getting one, having her safe at home, and then continuing the fight for the little one.
Yes, exactly, and I'm glad you brought that up, brother, because when I had talked to you like about 3 months ago, remember I had talked with David Simmons from the National ICWA, and he had said the same thing. He said, with your oldest, he said, you know, the same thing you had said. Get her first because of what's going on, and then go after my youngest.
I think that's a great idea. I would encourage you to do just that, because I'm really concerned about the 14-year-old. I really am. The 4-year-old, you know, you might not like it, but she's being taken care of by that foster family, and so I think
you know what?
What?
You know, when you go to federal court, when you put the defendant's name on it, you put all the defendants, everybody. I mean, I don't care who it is. You know, you're entitled to put whoever you want on it. The defendants, you know, the Child Protection Service, the tribe, the state, so and so and so and so. When you do that, the federal court automatically sends everybody notice that you're filing on them. And when they get that notice from federal court, their legs start shaking. And they might not even want to go to court. They might say, let's just give her this girl back and get her out the way before this happens. Because once they go to federal court, they got to answer. And nobody wants to answer in federal court. So just going to federal court is a threat to them, you know, just popping in there and getting a letter from the feds, you know, changes their mind. So I think that right now it would be good to try to get into federal court, even if they deny it. Even by them denying it, they're still going to get notice that you're filing in federal court.
Yes. Yep, I agree with you.
And I hope you do this, and I hope that you follow up on it. And I hope that more people get involved and try to help, because, like I said, all of us are threatened with having our kids taken from us. All of us. I've been through this.
Yeah.
And they come in your house and look around, and they want to make sure you got water and you ain't freezing. They'll take your kids. You know, this child protection services are wicked. I understand helping our kids in a bad situation, but not just taking them for money, you know?
Right. Exactly.
I don't agree with that. And that's what's happening. So we need to, so it's good. It's good you brought this up on the radio show, and we need to, because we're talking about rights, you know, American rights. All of us are supposed to have rights, but only some people get rights, you know. But we have to keep in mind, we still can try to get them, you know. A lot of these rules for access to courts, everybody uses them. I mean, death row inmates, everybody uses these because they know about them. But our societies are so overwhelmed with so many things. We don't think of federal court. We go into court and let them just treat us like crap all the time. I mean, but federal court, they have a law for everything. I tell you that much. And if you get a prosecutor or somebody that's really, you know, like nowadays there's people are changing. There's all these videos, and you need to get videos and keep records and recording and all this stuff. You need to get information together because people are wicked and they're doing us dirty by taking our kids. And I think that we need to try our best to get into federal court to show our people this way. You might be, Lorna, you might be able to be a subject of importance to everybody if you get into federal court with this. You know what I mean? I mean,
yeah.
I would like to see you do it.
She would be the spark that lights the fire.
Yep, and that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
And Paige, you're on. I just,
I'm listening. I put a link in the chat room for LegalZoom.com, and at that, I've ordered some legal documents from that site, and it gives you a step-by-step on how to, the one I sent in there was for legal custody or custody dispute. And while you guys are talking, I am looking up some links that I can throw in the chat room that would help her as far as a federal petition. But from what I can remember, when I had to take some law classes when I got my college degree, was you had to go through steps, and I want to say it's like from state to federal. You have to do it that way. But since I don't know the law that you fall under,
Paige, hold it right there. That's what I explained to him. You don't have to you do not have to go to state courts and all them if you already been. If it's futile, if you could prove it's futile, you can go to federal court. And she's already been through all this jurisdiction with tribal court. Tribal court. The next step from tribal court is federal court. The state don't have jurisdiction. The thing about it is, you got to just show that it's futile, and that you don't need to follow those remedies. It says exhaust remedies. Well, yeah, but if you can prove it's futile to exhaust remedies, you go straight to federal court. So let's cross out this exhausting the remedies. To me, she exhausted the remedies. I'm telling her go to federal court. So let's figure out how to get into federal court. She needs education on how to get to federal court. She needs a connection how to get there.
Yeah. But I will say this, that this link that Paige posted on the chat room, that is a good link to download some documents to go to federal court. That is a good link. I will say thank you for posting that, Paige.
Yeah.
Thank you.
See those documents, that's what you need. So that way you don't need to write on toilet paper, Lorna. Just download this document, like Paige said, and fill it out. Yeah. And put everybody that is an enemy to you in this case. Every defendant. I mean, every name of every. Listen now, we're not on the telephone, we're on the radio. Everybody that is a defendant, put them on there. Every name, because when it gets into federal court, everybody's going to get notified. And the more people that's notified, the more legs are going to shake. And and they'll probably make a deal with you just on that. I think that will be enough, because you see, federal court, it turns into a snowball. You file three. Listen, now we're not on the telephone.
Okay.
We're not on the telephone, please. Federal court, you got to have three copies, okay? 3 copies, send it in. 1 copy, and you keep a copy for yourself. The judge gets a copy, so this 3 copies multiplies to 100 copies or 200 copies, and each copy that's sent costs money. So the minute you get in the federal court, it starts costing them money.
Yeah.
The more copies, the more money. So it's all about the money now. You're starting to dig in people's pockets, and they're going to try to figure out how to deal with it. That's how federal court works. That's why a lot of people get out of court decisions, on this. Anyway, I just wanted you to do that. And Paige, it's good that you bring this up. And Layla, I got you on too in case you want to have something to weigh in. I'm sure you might have Layla from Florida.
Well, Wamba, you know me oh so well. I'm a very emotional person, and Lorna, I'm so sorry you are going through all this. My heart goes out to you very much. And I just want to thank the very cool head of Paige and Dave and you, Wombly, because for every problem, there's an answer.
And I feel like I'm glad, the American Indian movement is about helping the people and standing for the people. And Lorna, your case, we need our people to get this stuff in federal court. Nobody does it. They talk to these attorneys all day long, and I'm fed up with a lot of these Indian attorneys. They act, once they get to that level, they act like, I met a lot of them in these, like they have Dakota Plains Legal Services, on the Pine Ridge Rez. All they do is help people fight in tribal court. Or, how to fill out forms. Why don't they take some of the federal court? All these Indian attorneys, they act like they don't know nothing about federal court. But I tell you what, federal court is the court to be in if you're going to fight.
Yeah.
Because
I got a question for Lornagene. Lornagene, are you able to see that link that Paige provided on so that you'll have access to it? You're not on. Okay. Okay. So Paige, is there a way that you and Lorna can communicate after the show, and that you can help her provide those links, so she can download some of this stuff? I mean, you've been a great help. You've provided some good information, and I'm wondering if you could, take it to the next level and communicate with Lorna.
Well, I will do my level best to do what I can. My name is in the chat room. I am on Facebook if you want to contact me there.
Do
you have Facebook? Are you on Facebook?
All right. Yes. We're all on Facebook. Yeah.
Okay. The spelling is Paige.
Okay,
wait now. Wait.
I gotta. Wait now. Okay, I'm ready.
Okay.
And my last name.
Go ahead.
My first name is Paige, Paige. My last name is Weeks, Weeks. And I'm out of Atlanta, so when you do a Facebook search, just type in Paige Weeks Atlanta, and it'll pull me up. I'm in Utah. I'm at you can see me. I'm wearing a hat. I got long blonde hair, and I'm wearing a hat, so that's a dead giveaway right there. But I will do what I can to help you, and I make no promises, but I can only do the very best that I can, and I think that is, the best I can do.
One thing is advice is free, and and we can give advice and share experience, for free. So that's a good thing. But I
cannot stress this. Yes, sir. I cannot stress the point that you get in touch with the universities and get in touch with these law students. You're going to get a lot of turndowns. But keep plodding along, keep fighting, and one person is going to say, you know what, I can really relate, I can really help, and this will help with my law degree, and it may change someone's life to change their law degree. Instead of being a divorce lawyer, they may turn up being a lawyer to help your tribe.
Right.
Hey,
right,
Lorna,
and I do appreciate it.
Lorna, the one thing too is remember this: the spirits will help you.
Yeah.
You gotta pray.
Yeah.
They will lead you to the right person and everything, but you have to be loyal to it.
Yeah.
You have to be loyal to it, and so keep that in mind too. Nothing's impossible if you pray about it. In our way, Lakota way, or whatever tribe, they'll lead you to the right person. And there's a person up there in the law, a lawyer or a young guy who's also spiritual, that's going to feel that prayer. So that's how it works. We all got to keep our spiritual connection, because I'm not trying to be an evangelist here, but I know that the spirits help everybody, and we got to take advantage of that. And I really happy Paige came on and everybody to help you out, and that you brought this case out, Lorna, because actually this case you bring forward, there's 1,000 of them right now, but none of them speaking on the radio, only you, and none of them have any idea what to do next. None of them have any idea where to go from here, and a lot of people just give up. But a lot of our young people right now are raising babies, our young kids, and they're raising them, and they're really working. But it only takes one mistake, and the state will take the child from us. And that's why we always got to keep that in mind. That Child Protection Service is a wicked piece of the devil. I don't see them helping. I see them destroying families. I think that when we see something wrong, Indian people have relatives. A lot of our kids could just go to relatives, but Child Protection Service, like my grandchild, those kids ended up down in Denver, in Colorado, South Dakota kids. They end up wherever. I know a girl in Germany. She got adopted in Ohio, or sent to Ohio, while her family just happened to move to Germany, so they took her with them. So she was stuck over there and got raised over there. That's what happens. And this Indian Child Welfare Act is supposed to defend and protect and give the relatives a right to these kids without the red tape. They're supposed to give you the child automatically without saying, you need to have a new house, you need to have this, you need to have that. The first thing the Indian Child Welfare Act is give that child to a family, an immediate family member who wants the child. And you already proved you wanted the child. And they're denying that. See, this Indian Child Welfare Act is something that I've been seeing, we've been having problems with it. They're ignoring it. So we need to even start bringing that up, even on Facebook, making more posts and, bringing this up. But education, bro, on legal matters, how to fight your own case without an attorney, how to go to court without an attorney. It's easy. You just fill out the form, send it to court, pay the court filing fee. I was shocked to death when I found out how easy it is to get into. Once I found out how easy it was to court, I was in court every week for paperwork. I was taking their budget sky high, you know.
Yeah.
And I got my conviction overturned because of that.
Yeah.
You know.
Hey,
well,
Wombly,
it was mentioned. It was
Wombly,
mentioned
I don't
earlier
mean
about
to-
getting with.
I don't mean to
mentioned
interrupt
earlier-
you, Wombly, but
It's okay.
Debbie McShane's on the phone, and Debbie
Yeah.
had went through a similar experience in getting custody of her grandkids. So you might want to give a listen to her too.
Well, I got
That's my cousin.
her. It's at 406. I got that line open too. It's been open.
Wombly,
right.
Yeah, go ahead.
can you hear
You're
me,
open.
Wombly?
Yes, for sure I can. How you doing?
I'm great, and I'm so happy I was listening to this show because, you know, that federal thing opened up my eyes because Lornagene knows my story, too, because her and I talk all the time, and she knows I'm looking for a lawyer, too. And
Well, I remember you fighting for your kids for a long time, you know.
yeah.
And the thing about it, like I said, it blows my mind how our people do not use the federal courts like we should. You know,
it opened up my eyes. I'm like, wow, of course, federal court, because aren't we federal wards
exactly
of the state?
That gives us straight path to federal court, and our people don't use it.
Yeah,
you know?
I never thought of that. And listening to everybody, you know, it's so sad that they're taking our kids, you know, to make money, and the judges too, because Rapid City judge, right in front of my face, kicked me out of the courtroom. Now I did fight for my niece and nephew, and I won after a year of fighting. And like the lady said, keep at it every day, and somebody will finally help you. Well, that happened to me, and I told Lornagene to get a hold of Joe Ashley from ICRA out of Pierre. But he didn't help her. So I got help from him, but he didn't help Lornagene. So it's mixed up, it's crazy, it's sad. I feel sorry for my cousin fighting for her kids. I got mine, but I want justice because I have documents proving that they took my niece and nephew illegally. I got documents in black and white. I've called thousands of lawyers. Nobody wants to take my case. Why? I have the documents. So, but I'm going to go file federal, and you should too, Lornagene, because I didn't think about that.
Yeah, you know, Deb, all you do is like Paige said, download the form, put all the defendants' names on it. It cracked me up because I sued the Catholic Church, you know, and of course they threw me out, but I could go back when I want. They threw me out without prejudice because I didn't have the money, and they said I could afford it. I wasn't indigent, like I said. Anyway, long story short, what cracked me up is every defendant that I put on that suit, they got a hold of them. So everybody knew I was filing a lawsuit. Now, they didn't know I got thrown out. All they knew was they got a letter saying I filed on them in federal court. And that made people start thinking, you know, wow, it scares the hell out of people when they're going to go to a federal court, you know. So then, you know, as a leader, you know, and being in AIM, I would really like to see you take this with the federal court and get support from everybody, you know, you and Lorna and everybody.
Yeah.
Because that sounds like when you guys were talking about the Lakota People's Law Project, they didn't do anything for us. 2010 is when I was begging them for help. I begged and pleaded, and Lornagene, you did too, didn't you?
Yes.
Yeah, they don't do anything, so I don't know what they do, but they don't do anything. And I mean, I just fought it every day, crying, tears, and then they drugged my kids when I got them. They were so drugged up and just abused. It was sad, but they're thriving little kids now. But, you know, Lornagene needs to get hers, and they're keeping her little one because, you know, they want little cute Indian babies, you know, and my two are full-bloods, and they want them. They want them.
Yeah.
Thank you, Paige.
But I'm glad you brought up the federal, because I'm going to look into that, because I remember a long time ago a friend of mine, because we don't have an Indian center here in my small town in Montana, and my friend said, let's go squat a federal building. He said, let's go find a building that's empty that belongs to the feds. And I thought, why not? Why can't we do it, you know?
Yeah.
I mean, we are federal wards of the court, right?
No.
That's true. Yep.
I mean, if we're enrolled, are we wards of the court or what?
What they claim, that's what they want us to think. But I don't feel like a ward of the court, you know, the U.S. courts.
Hey, Dave, and there, hold on a little bit. I got someone else on the line.
Okay.
I don't know. I hope it's Phoenician. Am I saying that right?
Peace to the Phoenicians and peace to the Urantrians. Yes, sir, you are correct.
While you're on the air.
How are you guys doing today? I don't know how many of you are out here, but I thought that I would extend my hand to you guys. And I have a show. It's on a Blog Talk Radio also. It's called High Frequency Radio. And some of my co-hosts are a little bit more specialized in this than I am, but I'm going to give you guys just a pretty much a breakdown of what I really think that might assist you in this. This is just my own personal views. It's not something that you should delve into without doing the proper studies yourself. But I am an Aboriginal American, a Washita. I don't know if you guys are aware of the true history in the United States, but I do believe that at some point we can get into that. But with that being said, I believe that there is a discrepancy with people understanding the government and their operations correctly. Now, you guys have an advantage because of the fact that you already understand jurisdiction. The next question that you have to ask yourself is this right here. When you look at the United States Constitution, I believe it's Article 8, Section 17, Clause 17 of the United States Constitution. It says that Congress has plenary rights for commerce in the United States. Now, when you look at the definition for the United States, it consists of a 10-mile square radius in Washington, D.C. The jurisdictions that we are looking for and the courts that we are going into are not Article 3 courts. They are Article 1 courts designed for commerce. And as such, when you walk into them, they will always give you the same remedy, which is you have not established a claim which relief can be granted. The problem with that is that you're still trying to go into a colonizer's court and use his rules against him. I don't know if you guys are as versed as I am in the totality of the American history, because it's been hidden so very, very cleverly. But what I can tell you is this right here. I have a show on high frequency on which I delve into what we call autarkic autonomic living, and that is living on which we produce all of our energy as well as our sustenance, okay? I'd like to look past the unsavory people that I'm glad you put a filter on your show to make sure, and I certainly appreciate that. This is all about peace. I don't deal in anything else other than peaceful, civilized things. And the definition of a civilian is someone that practices civility. And in law, it means someone that practices the art of being a civilization. And I'm for promoting the civilization of this planet and not just one territory. Now, I have my own personal views when it comes to Aboriginal Americans, but this is something that I think backshadows the fact that there is humanitarian work out here to do. So what I would like to offer is, and extend my hand, is to teach, on which I've already done on some of my other shows, you guys, that there is another technology out there, and there is a YouTube page that you can go to. It's called the Keshe, Keshe Foundation Spaceship Institute. Okay? Now, as well as the Spaceship Institute, you have my shows, which are on high frequency radio, and I have other guests on there. I mean, I have other hosts on there.
Well,
go ahead.
Let me jump in here real quick because we're running out of time. Could you just, I see you must have some links on here, and we're trying to help her get, if they tune into your radio show, and we need to get the word out about their issue, the issue that we're facing. And the thing about it is, you're right about the government. The government, it's a shame that we got to ask the government to save us from when they're the ones got us under occupation. But right now, we need to make the government work. And that's my point. The government has got to work. And even if it's futile with them, we need to dig in their pockets. And I want these sisters of ours that are losing their kids to be able to know how to get into court. And I would appreciate it if you could help them air what their issue is on your radio show. How is that possible?
We can do something. We can do something even better. They can come over and they can listen to my radio show, and they can figure out how to put some teeth into what they want to do. That is a private trust that the United States is operating. And by you operating a private trust, which you already are very well aware of, you can use jurisdiction because the children have, if they have birth certificates, if they are Aboriginal, then we're going under the Unicentral Convention. But what I'm telling you is that we're not going to talk about anything on my radio station. We're going to get her some remedy. She's going to get them kids back. This is not the first time that this has happened. And there has been a compartmentalization of our story so people don't understand. We've already solved these kind of problems, and we do it every day on high frequency. She has to come over there, and she needs to get to studying so that she can get versed in it, okay? Education is something that has been kept, but it does mean that at some point we all have a responsibility to learn. Now, on the radio station that I have, we have very highly specialized people over there. And I can assure you that there's remedy right around the corner. You can have your kids back in as little as a week if you understand the law, okay? But at the same time, there is not a situation where we sit around and talk anymore. That they have a federal rules of civil procedure which they have to follow. There is jurisdictional issues that have to be brought up. And let me tell you something. Who in the fuck gives anyone the ability to take another person's children? This is chattel slavery we're talking about. slavers.
Yep.
Okay. All right. Right. Okay. So you're saying that you're almost guaranteeing that if she comes on your show and she listens, that she'll have her kids within the week? That's a pretty bold statement.
I'm telling you, this is what I'm telling you. I'm telling you that if she applies herself to the catalog on which we have, it depends on her own level of education. But if she applies herself to the catalog that we have and replay them and replay them and replay them, not only can she have her kids back, she can also start to exercise some of her Aboriginal rights on which she does not have cars that have VIN numbers. She operates completely out of trust when she's dealing in commerce. These are all things that are here for everyone. Freedom is not something that is up for negotiation.
Okay.
May I interject, please?
Yes.
May I interject? I have a feeling that this guy has that his agenda is to get listeners for his show. He gives out ideas, but then you're going to pay for it. I do not trust this guy. That's all I have to say.
Hold on for a second. Hold on, Paige.
I trust him.
I can't say I trust anybody, but you know what? My point is we cannot. We're not in a position to say what. We just believe he said his piece. You guys can go check it out, but I ain't gonna.
Yeah, I wrote down his link.
I'm not gonna. Hold on now. Hold on now. I'm not gonna disrespect somebody if they have an intent to help, because he might have a point there. He's not saying he can help. What he's saying is, if you go to his radio show or whatever, I don't know if it costs money or what his trip is. You find out yourself. Go over there, look at it, and decide if it's your something. It don't cost nothing to go see and see what information he has. He's just saying, look at the information. You know, I'm not going to go up and start, jamming him up, because maybe the guy's got something going. He's obviously has a different character that we're used to, and sometimes people rub us wrong, but that doesn't mean they don't have something happening. So anyway, getting back to our issue, go ahead, David.
Well, I hear what you're saying, but I'm just kind of, I'm looking at the chat, and I'm watching some of the stuff that this guy is posting, and I understand that if he can be helpful, but I'm bewildered by the stuff that Okay, let me read something to you. And Planned Parenthood is aborting babies. Satanic rituals, reason for murder of babies. What's that got to do with the show? What is this about?
Well,
I like to ask you, what is all everything that you're posting here on the chat room? Where's this coming from? What's it got to do with the topic of this show?
Well, let's not waste more time on it. I'm just saying. He said his point. He said his point.
Yeah.
And I want to. We're running out of time. But Deb and Lorna, last comments.
I wanna thank you for Brother Dave. I want to thank you for inviting me. I know when we first talked today, it was about a protest that me and my friend were going to do outside CPS, and I'm very thankful for you inviting me on the talk show tonight to tell my story, because it needed to be heard on a radio station, because I was even going to go to the media in Missoula. But I want to thank you guys very much. You all been helpful, and I do have a friend that knows about federal court and papers and stuff like that, and she said that she would help me do that, look into federal law and stuff to go to federal court, because like Debbie said, and I didn't know either, that, this was one of the things was straight to federal court. And I appreciate all all the information and all your help, and I want you to know that I keep all of you in my prayers, and I love you all. Thank you so much.
Deb?
Okay. Lornagene, I love you, and I've been praying for you and the kids, and I hope your daughter's doing good, too. You know, Lorna has a daughter who's ill with cancer. How's she doing?
She's doing her chemo. My daughter is the mother to my grandchildren that I'm fighting for.
Yeah, so you know there's a lot on Lornagene's plate, and really feel for her, and I hope we can help her. I mean, I'm grasping at any kind of help for her and I, you know, because it's not right. It's not right, and something needs to change. So I'm thankful for this radio show to get the word out, and thank you, Wombly.
Well, no problem, and Juan Come Lately is on, too.
Hey, later is better than never. But you know what, Wembley? You always save the best for the last minute, you know.
Yeah.
And that's good enough for me. You know, who's that Hocus Pocus guy coming out with all this good stuff? You know, it's like it made me wonder, and but ICE is a big red flag somewhere flying around. But that's okay because we got fire extinguishers. But listen, have you heard of the Peacemaker Court?
No.
Look into
writing it down. What is it?
But anyway, you know, the only thing I want, you know, is late at night. We only got a few minutes. You know, I like to give my blessings to the sister Lorna
Jean.
Right.
Uh-huh.
You know, my blessings go out to you and keep fighting the fight because once you stop, then nothing's going to happen. You know, I will listen to Wembley better than any other hocus pocus stuff, you know. I mean, seriously, you know. I mean, you know, I mean,
right.
the only thing we got over here, we only got Sage, man, and Sage is the best part about the whole thing, you know.
Yeah.
And
yeah.
so.
Oh. Okay.
Well,
anyway. Thank you for letting me chat here for a little bit.
Yeah.
Thank you.
All right, Juan Come Lately. Oh, I understand you're Southern California AIM. You got a different time, so that's why you're kind of late all the time, huh?
Yeah.
I'll give you that. But the thing about it, you know, we're gonna have to get ready and head out here. I want to thank Deb and Lorna for bringing this issue up, and we need to work with our people on this. And me myself, I like to keep my mind open to all things. Like I said, we have to always watch out, but never stop yourself from learning and keep an eye out. Remember Deb and Lorna and everybody out there. We have access to federal court. Don't let these tribal courts and these state courts stop you. You have a right to go to federal court if you can prove or show that you don't have to exhaust remedies if it's futile. So do that. Give it a chance. Go out, look for forms, fill it out, pay that court filing fee, and put as many defendants as you want on it and have them all notified that you're on their ass. All right?
Yeah.
Yes, definitely.
And with that, Doksha, it's 10 seconds, and we're out of here. So you guys stay on the line.
All right.
And thank everybody, my nephew, everybody out there, Maria, Lisa, Paige, Roger, good to have you back, Sarah Johns, and of course Jeremy and everybody out there that's helping us out, and I want you to know that, okay, we're off the air, but we're still being recorded. I mean, still no flushing toilets.
Buenas noches.
Okay.
Yeah. Buenas
who's
noches.
Who's still on there?
Well,
I am Debbie.
Juan, Debbie, Lorna, and you, and
what happened to Paige? She got knocked up.
Layla's on.
What happened to Paige? Yeah. Hey,
Paige.
What happened to Paige?
I don't know. She hung up.
Yeah. No,
Juan, say something?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, our sainted guest who was offering what appeared to be maybe sort of oblique information, he mentioned Urantia, and it's my understanding that that has to do with extraterrestrial information. So we may have talked about some very strange territorial privileges. So I just want to encourage what you said, Wombly, that we all keep an open mind.
Well, it is. I wrote down the foundation. It's the Spaceship Institute, and I'm like Wombly, man. I keep an open mind.
Well, I understand I understand.
Well, the whole thing is getting back to the point of Lorna and the kids. I really think that federal court is the avenue to go, and our people don't do this. Our men are getting locked up for baloney, and our people are getting stuff, and they go to state court. You know what gets me, Dave and Deb? That guy that threw beer on people? They could take that to federal court. And you know what? We got these Indian attorneys that running around trying to protest and all this stuff, but you know what? They need to open their minds and start learning how to use federal court to our advantage and helping. They got the key in. Well, you got the key in because I went in myself. I fought different cases in federal court, and it was pretty damn easy. Just file the court fee and get in there. Once you're in there, the ball rolls, and they guide you to the rest. And they will guide you. They'll say, okay, now you got 30 days to file this, and then you file it. Then they say file a brief, so you make up a brief. They guide you all the steps once you get into federal court.
Yeah, I'm going to try it because I want to sue. I want to sue the state of South Dakota for what they've done to my family because they accidentally gave me documents saying that they're wrong, saying that they took these kids illegally. I have the documents, and not one lawyer will help me.
Well, I tell you what, you can be your own attorney.
Yeah, I'm going to look into that because, like I said earlier, I had a friend years ago tell me, let's go squat a federal building. And you know what? It really does make sense.
Because you can be your own attorney, and the judge has got to listen to you. You don't, he has, even if you're they use the term layman at law. He has to give you more credence if you're a layman at law than an attorney. In other words, if you're not communicating in a legal level, he has to listen to you more, and he's paid to help you out more than an attorney. And a lot of times they will just give you an attorney. Once you get up to that level, they'll give you an attorney. They'll give you somebody to help you.
Well, I'm going to try it because I'm running out of time. Statute of limitations, because it's been 4 years for me. 5 years.
Yeah, well, you can do it, and just do it like that page said, get on the internet, to pick out a form and start laying out charging people to defendants.
Hey,
you know.
Hey, you know that page? She's a private investigator.
Who is? Okay.
Cool,
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah,
really?
she's a private Yeah, I went to her page, sent her a friend's request, and so she says, I'm a private investigator. I know a nut when I see one. A crazy. He says, that guy was crazy. Yeah. He says, and I was seeing the things that he was posting on the chat. They were bizarre. Nothing to do with what we're talking about. So I'm gonna say that guy was a nut.
The other thing, he's just like, I see he don't like the government, you know, and so he's got his own agenda against the government, you know, and that's what the deal is.
That's why I liked him.
Yeah,
you know,
I wanted to ask him, what did he mean by Aboriginal American?
Well,
Australia, doesn't it?
That's because he's not living in our culture, but he's using Aboriginal because, you know, Canadians use that a lot, and people that aren't Indian and that aren't Indian but want to be Indian, they call themselves Aboriginal because they don't want to call it. They don't want to be called Native Americans because you're claiming America. They don't want to claim. You know, so,
Wembley, the reality that I think that guy's been smoking pot. That's what I think.
Probably.
I had to say it. I'm sorry. I had to say it.
All right,
that's what it. That's the whole thing.
Probably, but like I said, if he's against the other side, that's good for me. And I mean, he's gone. He's not on here no more, so there's nothing for us to worry about. But the point is, it's good to know that there's somebody else on their ass too, you know.
Yeah.
Well, you still got to remember, Dave, that time James Swan was on the radio and they went off the air and he was really talking shit.
Yeah.
So be careful what you say, even though we're off the air, because it's still recording. Remember that, Dave?
No.
Hey, I did the same thing. I did the same thing to somebody. So when they confronted me, I had to stick my chest out, say, "Yeah, I said it."
Yeah.
Yeah, because we're still recording right now.
Hey, check this out. Hey, check this out. That guy that was in the chat room, he's going after Paige right now. She just sent me a message. You know?
No.
Oh yeah. Yeah, they're having it out on private message.
Well, you know, like I said, you know, we got enough enemies, so we'll leave it like that. You know, she opened the door to an enemy by trying to openly dispute with them. Just let them go. We don't know them. Some people are not our problem. Once they go, they're on a spaceship to another planet. We don't see them no more. But
hey, I believe in that extraterrestrial stuff.
But we gotta live with
trying to give the guy a chance.
Yeah. I mean, you saw the post I put on there. They're saying that Obama's drinking water from Mars so he can get powers.
I was going to say that.
Well,
Dan, I believe that. Isn't that true?
No.
well, look at Juan came from Pluto. That's why he's got a big heart.
Serious.
Hey, better from Pluto. Better from Pluto than from Uranus.
Junipero. mean Jupiter.
Yeah, well, Uranus is bigger too. I mean the planet Uranus. I mean the planet Uranus is bigger. I didn't mean Uranus is bigger. I mean Uranus is a bigger planet.
No.
All right, yeah. I'm off here, guys. I love you all.
All right. I gotta check out too. So.
All right.
See you guys.
It's snowing over here, Lorna. You got snow?
No snow,
right.
not yet. No.
Yeah, it's pure white outside. We got a good inch of snow over here.
Where?
All right.
Oh. Don't
Goodbye,
shot.
everybody.
I love you, brothers.
Don't shot.
Don't shot.